we're excited. It's always great. Throw Team USA on your back.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like you mentioned, these kids are young, man, and this might be most of their first times coming overseas. How do you deal with that as a coach?
I think we've all the coaches have been talking through. It's still just wrestling, right? And they all done that a lot, but trying to make sure we all understand what each individual athlete needs as far as warming up, and do they like to be excited? Do they like to be low key? Trying to understand those idiosyncrasies, but really just trying to keep them control the controllables, right? Our flights got delayed and had some issues, so that kind of stuff is routine. And if you've been overseas, you know that. So just trying to help them understand, like, control the controllables and be flexible and go with the flow. And often when you come to some places, you don't have your exact food you like sometimes, or the exact thing you like. So just really trying to get them to focus on what they can do and manage. And they've all done a great job, kept real great attitudes. I think this age group is really fun and exciting, right? They're all bringing big energy. I think there's a clip of us on the bus, and they're like playing the speaker and Team Japan, and they're like, all playing the music. So it was that type of stuff is kind of priceless. I mean, obviously we're here to compete hard and go get some medals, but that stuff you can't fake. Right. So it was really great.
Well, okay, so it is their first time overseas, but they do have most of them have a little bit of international wrestling experience. You said that Pan Am's was almost like a training wheels.
Yeah, Pan's almost training wheels a little bit, especially when you talk about Greco, right? Because you're missing some of the traditional really big powerhouses. I mean, if you see Cuba come through there and some of those teams, but really, you're missing out on some of the biggest hitters in Greco. So we try to temper. Help them understand, hey, this is like getting used to UWW events and all that stuff, but be ready to bring your best positions and your best fight when we go to Worlds. And that's kind of the message, right? Because I think we brought home a plethora of medals from Pans, and kudos to those guys and those coaches, because it's always great. But we want to make sure the level keeps rising, right? And that's really what happens when you get to Worlds.
Okay, so that said, there is a difference between the level of Greco at Pan Am's, especially excluding Cuba, and here at the World Championships. How do you prepare them, having never come over to Europe, and how do you prepare them for the actual wrestling, the actual Greco here at the World Championships?
Well, I think historically we know oftentimes sometimes there's calls we don't agree with, but it's kind of that stuff, but also just leaning on our strengths, right? As a country, we fight really hard, and we're going to go out there and battle really hard, so we got to give ourselves a chance to battle, right? So we've got to get to that battle in that second period, start making condition a factor, be in good position, win the holds. If you're somewhere you don't want to be, change the position, right? And stay in the fight so that you have time to let our strengths shine through, whereas maybe there's some other countries that are at this point maybe a little more technically polished, especially at this age group, but all our guys know how to go really hard for whatever time till the whistle stops, and we're going to rely on what they do well plus that, and go after these guys.
You are historically, you've been more of a college coach, sure, right? There's a big difference between a 7-minute match and a 4-minute match, man.
Yeah.
Is there something tactically different that you kind of you get in their ear about, going, hey, 4 minutes, you better get after it?
I think it's a middle ground, right? Because if you get after too hard, often we see, especially when USA goes overseas, sometimes you go after a little too much, and then you expose yourself, and now you're going to 4, right? And then you see those guys shut down, right? So we want to make sure we're pushing the pace, but in technically sound positions, so that we're not giving up the 4, and then those guys are coasting on a lead or whatever it is. So I think, yeah, you're right. Time-wise, it's different, but even still, you see oftentimes our conditioning, it plays a factor, regardless of whether it's 4.5 minutes or 7 minutes. So we just want our guys to have a chance to get to their scoring holds as frequently as they can, and then take advantage of the fact that they're all in great shape and great competitors.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.